almost what we expect. I think if the players walk off the pitch and you can't ask for any more, whether you win, lose or draw, I think everybody in this room certainly would be happy with that. I think that goes without saying. And firstly, again, that's the first thing the manager expects, and again through myself and Ian, we just kind of repeat the messages and echo that to the players. You'll have to expand on the question, how does it work? In fact, I'll pass it to Ian and see if he gets it.
Thanks, Ali. That's not how it works. Good sign.
That's exactly how it works.
I think it works because you've got 3 working class fellas here from Liverpool and Leeds in a northern city in the south by all accounts, and we set the standards. We come in and we work hard and we come in with a smile on our faces and we make sure it's enjoyable for everybody. And like the guys have said, all we ask is that the players leave everything on the pitch. Day in, day out, we'll work our socks off to make Portsmouth Football Club better. And we'll see where it takes us.
Lager top, lager shandy, tea. We're looking for new staff.
I asked you on Tuesday night about the burden of managing Portsmouth Football Club. I'd like to answer on Tuesday night to repeat it for those that weren't able to listen. You didn't call it, but it's not a burden to be at Portsmouth Football Club, is it? You said it's a responsibility you thrive upon, isn't it?
I'm not saying you thrive upon it. It gives you the odd sleepless night. It's not like you're going to say, oh, isn't this job easy? But I think nowadays we create this environment of management and tactics and formations, and we just lose that real value that we all grow up. I would imagine everyone just loving football, just playing football. If we weren't very good at football, we'd become a referee. I bet you there's a couple in here. And I'm lucky enough now, and all laughing and joking aside, that we've got a chance to take this club where we should be. And every club's got an identity and where they should be, and I think everyone's got in the football pyramid, everyone's got a place. My belief for Liverpool Football Club is that we should be at the top, and that breaks my heart that we're not. Portsmouth Football Club has a place, and that's up for you guys to decide what's our real position. I think the Premier League today is a league that's, wow, it's difficult, it's financially massive. The Championship for us, for sure, is our first protocol. Once we're in the Championship, we'll challenge each other then to get where we really should be.
I don't want to embarrass you, but I remember overhearing a conversation you had with the Chesterfield press after Pompey drew 0-0 at your place a couple of seasons ago, and the high fives that were coming from the Pompey camp after that, and you were amazed at the size of Portsmouth Football Club, how delighted they were by drawing 0-0 at Chesterfield.
I actually said, and I don't mind saying it to Richie, he come in with our chairman today, Ian, and that, and I couldn't understand how he was celebrating drawing at Chesterfield. For the life of me, I couldn't grasp it. And obviously at the time, it must have been a good point. We were obviously a good side in the league, going away from home on the night. Portsmouth were better than us. Yeah. Portsmouth deserved to win the game. But I couldn't grasp that had become success. And sometimes if you set your targets at that level, then you'll never achieve what you really should be trying to achieve.
And a couple of quick fire ones for the guys before we move to the floor on just how many more do you want, optimal squad size and business still to be done. Mark sat in the front row here with his checkbook.
Mark's just left.
How many more? There's going to be outs as well involved in that process as well, but how many more do you roughly want in? Where do you need strengthening still after seeing what, 190 minutes?
From past experiences, obviously working with the manager, I think the small squad, a tight-knit squad, especially, you know, rather quality rather than quantity. I think people get mixed up in that, especially today's, you know, like you said, the value of football. So initially there will be some obviously leaving, whether we agree or disagree. I've been told on a few already tonight. I just blame him. But certainly there'll be a couple of additions. But we do like to operate with, you know, a smallish squad, 19-20, until we need another big striker, and then that's where Mark comes and goes. But, no, we're looking for quality rather than quantity.
I think the most important thing when you speak about squads for everyone is you pick a team on Friday, they'll get beat Saturday, so the players you left out on Sunday become better players. But if you rewind to Friday, they weren't good enough to be in the team. But 2 days later, they've become better. And what happens as a manager sometimes when we do come under pressure, and we all do, then you can change too quick. And sometimes you should show more confidence in the players that you've got. Even next year, we'll lose games, but our players won't become bad overnight. And sometimes you must go on the training ground and work harder at what you're trying to do and be better at what you're trying to do, so that you might lose that fight that day, but when you turn up next time, you'll be more equipped and better prepared to win the fight. So smaller numbers for us works.
Let's go to our friend here. Yep, you that jumped up.
Hello, my name is Harry. I'd really like to talk about the fitness of the squad. So I think in previous years we've had concern over the fitness, we have a fitness coach. And what are we expecting this year? Do we see that the Pompey squad needs to work much harder? Thank you.
With regards to fitness, you know, we have sports scientists and strength and conditioning coaches at the football club, but everything is football related. You know, gone are the days where you'd see lads running around for hours on end and dragging their feet up hills and things like that. You know, everything's done with a purpose, so everything is measured. All the players have smart targets and they're aware of where they need to improve, whether that's speed, agility, strength, endurance. You know, they're all given individual targets that they try and get to during the close season. You know, they've had an off-season programme, so it's not just a full stop. They have a couple of weeks break and then they're working, and then they come in pre-season, like the gaffer said. You know, it's not about results, it's just about getting the players right for Dagenham and Redbridge. So with regards to fitness, the players will be ready, they'll be well tuned, and like I say, they'll all have their individual targets, which will help them with, you know, and most importantly, they'll be football fit. You know, so they'll all get minutes on the pitch, loads of minutes on the training ground, and come August the 8th, you know, they'll all be ready to go.
So I'm asking, compared to previous teams, Chesterfield for example, do you feel that Pompey are at that level, or there's still some way to go?
I wasn't asked Chesterfield, so I don't know.
I think one of the things you must always be respectful of is people will always say that we're going to be the fittest team in the league. You're actually not, because you don't know how fit any other team is. You only know how fit your team is. So what we're going to be is the fittest we can be. And our lads will train hard every day. They'll have the day off when it's required, but they'll have their body fats done, their weights done. They'll agree on a playing weight. I'm still 12 stone 2, by the way. But it's important that they buy into what we're doing. Are you with me? And once you have a buy-in of the player as well as us, then they're more aware of the weight and the body fats and everything else. So our players will be as fit as they can be for our club. If someone else is fitter than us, good luck to them.
And you said they're some of the hardest working you've ever had as well, from what you've seen from them so far.
I must have, and Leo and the lads will tell you, we had a day on, was it Wednesday? It was probably the toughest day I've ever seen for any team to do, and we didn't have one lad look up, look sideways, look backwards. They done it, they ate it up. It was a really tough day. It was in a boxing gym around the corner and started off, and I actually had to compliment the next morning. I had to compliment the players the next morning on the work ethic, which was absolutely fantastic. Not one of them shied away from it or anything else, and I honestly believe if they keep giving us that work ethic, every day and keep going forward like they are, that we'll be in a good place.
Hans?
Hi guys, there's two parts to my question, and it surrounds a topic that causes great argument in the pub before games and on the radio as well. It's this idea that we are the biggest club in the league and that every team that plays us raises their game and it's their cup final. How did you use that in your preparation at Chesterfield to prepare Chesterfield for coming here? Was it your cup final? And more importantly, what's your philosophy for getting our players to overcome that? Because it is difficult. I don't want you to say that they're professional.
That's a good question.
The Football League and the FA Cup is littered with favourites that have lost to the underdogs because they raise their game.
That's a great question. It really is a good question. Fantastic question. First of all, from when we prepared our Chesterfield to come here, we prepared the team that we believed we were better than you. That was as we're doing our pre-match stuff, individually we felt we were better than you. We felt that we were coming to a place where we were going to embarrass Portsmouth because we were that much better than you. So we were only filling our lads with confidence. Are you with me? We felt then when we took control of the game, the supporters would turn on the team, which we actually knew would never happen. But our players are just like... And actually, if you look back to when Chesterfield came here, he's absolutely battered us till Connolly got sent off. He's battered us, he's absolutely... And then I think it was the left side that centre half that went to Crawley.
Yes.
Sonny Bradley went on the run second half, even I was clapping. Now he didn't score, it was beyond me. But we just prepared our team for that. Going forward now, into next season, we must prepare our team for the eventuality that teams will raise the game. And we can't have bad days. Our bad days must be where we draw. You know, we've got to dig results out of when we're not playing well and we're not quite at it, we get something out of the game. You know, and I think if the players can buy into that, I think, you know, good players feed off support. It doesn't hinder you, you feed off it. You know, we believe that with the support we've got, I think the support, especially away from home, will grow. I think the belief in what we do will grow, but that won't come by us telling everyone that, that'll come by results. The most important thing is we hit the ground running.
So there's nothing psychological that you do as a guy in management to prepare those players?
From post coming here, no. Pre coming here, just give us, I'd like the belief that we are the biggest club in the league. Everybody knows that, everyone speaks about how much money we spend, how big the support is, it's a common factor in football. What they don't speak about is the 11 lads on the pitch. And they're the most important people on every Saturday.
I'm sorry if I might be stealing someone's question, but speaking about playing here at Fratton, but of course where Pompey have fallen short over the last couple of years is away form. And I know we've already spoken, you spoke about, I mean, as early as this week you were planning trips for early season, you've been to see the coach company, to check out the coach today. Every facet of that preparation's been looked over with great focus, isn't it?
Yes, there's obviously a common factor with regards to results. It's something we're quite meticulous on. You know, like you just said, we've been to look at the coaches. We had negative, positive, you know, comments on that. So it's up to us to kind of look into it. And again, you know, we're going to try and put in place a formula that works for us. You know, we've certainly found that so far. You know, whether we, you know, we can come to that at Portsmouth. You know, we're going to try maybe leave on a Thursday evening. You know, prepared properly. We've got good relationships, especially around the country through ourselves, where we can train and eat, sleep, and live football. I think, you know, certainly for lads that must make sacrifices. You know, if you want to excuse me.
Our away form is shocking.
Yeah. And it's up to our job. It's our job to change that.
Sort it out.
Yeah, certainly. You've got to make sacrifices, and we'll try and do that for the bigger picture.
We're actually looking at leaving on Thursday nights, just to let you know what goes on. We're looking at leaving at 9 o'clock even on a Thursday night. I think if you leave at 9 o'clock on a Thursday night, in 3 hours travelling north, you can be anywhere you want to be. If you leave on a Friday morning at 9:30, 10, 11, you're hitting motorways that you just don't know what's going on. So if we leave late at Thursday night, the players put the kids to bed or whatever they do, we're in a hotel up north, then midnight, you can have a lie in, we train properly, there's no travel on Friday, we're then ready to play Saturday, so that's the gist of what we're doing.
I believe you came here as an away fan in the 80s, is that right?
The 90s, not the 80s. I wasn't that brave then.
How was that for you?
That was great. That was when I was coming out to football. I followed Liverpool all my life, and them days I was even running coaches to away games and stuff like that, because you don't know what you're going to get involved in. So I've seen all the tickets and all that. You know, they're getting in grounds. I come here once on, I think it was 12 o'clock for a cup tie on a Sunday. I've come here for the Tuesday night game. I've been here loads of times. It's quite a brave walk behind that stand, by the way. Some of you PST trust people. But I know what it's like to be a fan, and I think sometimes that's important for us. That we're lucky enough to travel as well as we speak about, and you know, do the different stuff. But we know what it means to support us to win. You know, and I think that's the most important thing for us all. That we've got a chance to make you happy.
In the past 3 or 4 seasons, we've been quite over-reliant on loan players. We've sometimes had as many as sort of 10 or 15 over a season. I noticed that's not something you've done. Has that been a conscious decision, or are you going to be looking at that market later on?
I think the important thing to do is that we start off with a squad that we believe in, you know, and then as you go along, if you get a major injury, then you should go into the loan market. You know, you shouldn't be going into the loan market to fix your problems. You're not fixing them, you're just making them worse. That's my opinion, that's not. You know, so we'd like to think that we have loan markets quite covered as well as we can. Except for right back, we all know it's struggling for right back. So before anyone asks, we haven't got one. So in general, the loan market should be a comfort drop for us, for i.e. central mid, wherever you want, then there's someone who can come in to fill that gap to the back fit. The loan player goes back, our player comes back in. So it's something that we've used well.
Yeah, I know the press have got a role to play.
Oh, here we go.
But in the last 3 seasons since we restarted, the first manager we had and the third manager we had, the one in between the supporters one happened in at any price, but the first one and the third one, when things weren't going well, I think it got a bit sort of, everyone got fed up with it in the end, where players kept on coming on the back of the news and saying the manager's the best thing since sliced bread, it's all our fault. I think a lot of the supporters got fed up with that. When I think back to the players that in the old fourth division where the managers were successful, which was Frank Burrows and Ball and people like that, I think they probably have got your attitude whereby they don't want players coming on the back of the paper. They want the engineer himself to come on the back of the paper and say, this is what went wrong. And we kept on getting another player would come, and then it was another player. What supporters of the club wanted to hear was what the manager would thought had gone on. I know the press have got to fill the paper up.
Is there a question?
I think there's a good question in there, it's just not going out yet. Look at Neil at the back, the famous news. I think it's very valid. I think for myself, Liam and Ian coming in, you know, we're now managing, working at a club that's bigger than we've ever worked at before. Of course it is. You know, certainly from the Portsmouth News, they have a job to do in selling papers, which is important that, you know, you people know exactly what's going on. I think the most important thing is sometimes is diluting that to having good information. You know, so certainly we want to do our best to have good links with all the local media. We've had a couple of spats already. Neil smiling at the back as well. We're just finding our feet with each other at the minute. I'm sure there'll be a good working relationship.
It's going to be on that bar crawl with you and Johnny Moore. That's all. Got a question?
Do you have any lads in the squad who are Man United fans?
No. No. Me and Fozzie are big Liverpool fans. Liam's a big Leeds fan. No. We won't have any on loan. We won't have any. End of story.
Quick question for Paul. What are you going to do when we get to the third round of the FA Cup and draw Liverpool?
Not go on the coach. I think at the end of it, you're saying the same. You'd always have good cut draws, and it was quite funny last year. We was going quite well at Chester. We got Derby away in the cup. We're always dead confident. You're always, as a manager, you've got to be confident, and it was a big crowd, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think Chesterfield took 6,000 fans to the game. It was a full house. It was great, and it was one of them great atmospheres as a manager. And 3 o'clock, all the balls got stood in the technical area there. Steve McLaren come down rain. I panicked. I went. I hope we're all right today, Lewis. Well, you can't prepare yourself for facing your idols and stuff like that. I've never had as a manager. If we ever did, we'd lose. We'd field a weakened team. I'm sure you'd understand because we haven't been in the third round of the cup.
Right at the back, nice and loud.
Hello. Well, you said about you want people to live locally and the staff as well, which is good. Like obviously, want to be in the community. When are you going to learn the language?
I can't wait for that first northern shout. I think it'll be August the 9th. I always enjoyed it, I must admit. I've always enjoyed coming down here as a player. I said to the lads, there's always a great atmosphere when you come down here and stuff like that. I think the most important thing for us all, it's great to have nights like this. It really is, because I feel like you build up a relationship slowly. But from our point of view, we're not stupid, we know we've got to be successful. You know, that's the biggest factor of anyone can ever put in for management's results. But I can only tell you from my point of view, it's like we've got rid of the reserve team at the minute, you know, which I felt we must concentrate on getting the first team right. It's huge for us. Then once we feel that is moving forward, we must put structures in place at the club, i.e. with the academy, which I think the academy is doing great, by the way. I must let you all know the players we're producing at the minute, in my opinion, is second to none. And then we must have a middle bit, and that middle bit will come. You know, and then when we get to that stage, we've now got a fully functioning football club. You know, the first team's important. You know, the fan base here, with the best in the world, you people have been, and had everyone praises and praises and praises. And I'm even sure you are tired of that now, because you just turn up. You know, you turned up at Havant yesterday, you'll turn up against Dagenham. And I'm sure going forward and forward, whether we're successful or not, you will continually turn up because your love is your club. You know, we've got to make sure we try and put them structures in place at the club that make us stronger and better. And not the Northern.
It's the quietest they've ever been. It is obviously pre-season, we haven't lost yet. That's why. We might not.
We? He can be fired next year, isn't it?
It's time to announce the right back.
TBC.
Just a few, well, in a second, if we can, about the try list yesterday. I know you probably still want to talk to them fully about keeping them around, some exciting prospects and potentials there. Have you spoke to the guys about the next few weeks with them and then how you might move forward with the likes of Davis and Evans and all the others?
I think it's important that we appreciate that they're not actually on trial. You know, these lads are good players, they're established players. Ben Davis, for argument's sake, who just spoke about, has played Championship football for Derby. You know, he's in League One last year with Sheffield United, so they're not on trial. Theo Robinson's not on trial. You know, he's here to have a look at us and get to know Portsmouth, get to know the staff. He knows one or two of the players in the dressing room already, as does Ben. So the way trialists get bandied about in football, what's important is that they get to know us, get to know how we wear, and see if they're the right fit of the football club. And if they are, we'll bring them into the football club and they'll do well for us, with no doubt about that, because they're really good players. For those of you that were at Havant yesterday, you can see that. You know, these are good players. So, like I said, they're not on trial per se. the really good footballers would just see to the right fit for the club.
Obviously we know that you like to play sort of style of football is very attacking and forward thinking. In this division we've got against a lot of teams that just want to kick you off the pitch. How do you sort of balance your football philosophy against, you know, being practical when you do come up against these sort of things?
Me and Liam played against the team 18 months ago, and I can't be disrespectful because the manager's got a really big job now, I think. And we asked him, next time you bring your team to do that, don't bother coming, we'll have a point and put all the supporters out the pain. It's easy to set up to be negative. It's the easiest thing in the world to stop other teams playing. Any manager can do it. The hardest part of the game is being expansive and winning and taking the fight to someone else. And that's the thing that we'll guarantee, irrespective of where we go. We will be the expansive team. We will be off our front foot when no one's about happening.
Any more?
I had that many. I was quite lucky in my career. I played with some really good managers. I said to the lads sometimes at the time, it was like Graham Taylor at Wolves who'd just been sacked by England. And to be fair to the man, he was that far ahead of his time, it was untrue. You know, he had us training before games of a morning when we were playing pre-season. You know, because he used to say to players who were, you know, it's your brain, the most important part of a football is the brain. And when you're tired, you know, the better players operate better then. You know, I had Gordon Strachan, who I felt was the best manager, or could have been. His professionalism was second to none. You know, I really felt he lived his life for football, and he was an influence on me. He was the first person I ever who was engulfed by football. You know, he was fantastic with it. But probably the biggest influence was Stan Ternant. You know, was one of my last managers at Burnley because he was such a good manager. It was untrue. You know, I'll never ever forget Cambridge away. I'll never forget as long as I live. I was coming right to the end of my career. And we're playing Cambridge away. We used to eat at 11:11, our pre-match meal. And our pre-match meal was an English breakfast, a full English. A full. And he's chasing this chef around the hotel because the food's not hot. And how dare you do this to my players then? And we all sit there going, it's all right here, isn't it? But he gave us that feel-good factor, and I think if you look back on some of the managers that have been successful here, Harry and people like that, I think man management's important in the game now, I really do. I think sometimes we're getting too engulfed with coaching and tactics, and you know, if we get the best out of our players, the players on view tonight, we won't have a problem. So man management's important. So I think if you take a little bit from each manager, certainly nowadays with Ian and Liam, I'm lucky because we have a good level of professionalism, which is important. You know, sports science is important. You know, the game moves forward every day, and I respect that. But I think somewhere in the middle of all these little things, the right formula is. So, fingers crossed we can bring that to the club.
Time for one or two more.
Let's take a backward step in terms of league position. Chesterfield are here. Regardless of where Portsmouth are in 10 years, where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
The way Kevin the Kickman gets rid of managers and see myself in that little bunker by the training ground. He's got this little thing at the training ground where the pitch rises, and I keep telling him he's buried all the managers. So he's clashing with Fozzie at the minute. He's got a little grave for Fozzie, hasn't he? I think, again, a good question, mate. I think none of us know what tomorrow brings. I think the important thing is for us, I believe in football. I believe if I'm a Liverpool fan, I remember, I think it was Gerard Houllier brought one of the teams here, and I could have fell asleep watching Liverpool. And as a Liverpool fan, I don't want to fall asleep watching Liverpool. I want Liverpool to be the highlight of my week. So if I'm a Portsmouth manager, I just love to be successful here. You know, for as long as I can, doing the best I can. You know, wherever that takes us all, that takes us.
Last one.
When's the raffle?
After the last one. I guess the last one will come from me. Bolton and Gosport, but you have said that start reading into Coventry, Woking, Gillingham.
Woking game, we'll start picking our strongest team, or what we believe at the time is our strongest team at Woking. You know, that'll be the time we move forward. You know, I think then it's all systems to go for Daniel. So certainly, to finish off from our point of view tonight, you know, we've had such a fantastic welcome everywhere we've gone. In Southsea, when we've been in the hotel, 3 of us, it's been fantastic, and we really do appreciate it. And hopefully we can do well for you. Thank you.
Top stuff, thank you very much, guys. Couple of things before we finish. Firstly, Claire from Portsmouth in the Community, quickly come up, mention an event that's coming up, very important, the work these guys do. Just